Dakshit sir, please begin.
A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Dixit Mistry, Assistant Professor in the Department of Agricultural Engineering, Bharat Institute of Technology, Bharat University, Vadodara, Gujarat. I would like to welcome you on to this webinar on the topic renewable energy as an alternative energy sources. The main purpose of the webinar is to listener will get the basic idea about different renewable energy sources and the need of alternative fuels. They will also have knowledge of total installed power of renewable energy. I will also take this opportunity to introduce our honorable speaker, Mr. Nakum. Mr. Nakum did his BTech in agricultural engineering from Junagadh Agricultural University, Junagadh in 2018 and MTech in renewable engineering from Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology, Udaipur in 2020. After he has worked as an assistant professor in Parul University, Vadodara, he is pursuing his PhD also in from Renewable Engineering, Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology, Udaipur. He qualified ICR, JRF and PGSRF exam. During his BTech and MTech studies, he got All India third rank in SRF exam and 32 rank in JRF exam conducted by ICR. He has published 5 research papers in national and international journals. Dear students and participants, in today's webinar, you will be learning about the different topics related to renewable energy sources and potential of renewable energy. Ultimate of this session is to aware the people about the renewable energy and its maximum uses. I exit mystery on behalf of the entire Parul University family. Welcome Mr. Nakum and request him to comment with his presentation on the topics. Mr. Nakum now start your presentation.
Thank you very much, Dixit sir. Thank you. I think there is no need to introduce myself because Dixit sir has beautifully introduced about me. So before starting to the webinar, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to everyone? Dixit sir, please reply.
Yes.
Okay. Before starting to the webinar, I welcome you all, the faculty member of the Parul University, the entire staff member who are directly or indirectly connected to make this webinar. I welcome you all and welcome you, dear student. So before starting to the webinar, our webinar topic is about the renewable energy. So now renewable energy as an alternative energy sources. So to understand the renewable energy, it is necessary to understand what is energy. So energy is basically defined as the capacity to do work. Means for every routine life of any people or any nations, there is a requirement of certain amount of the energy. If we consider about the one people for their day-to-day life, for their routine life, energy required for their getting up to the bed, going towards the street, lifting their fingers, there is a certain amount of the energy is required to do certain work. That is about the people. And now the people combine and will make community, and community will combine to make nation. So we can say the energy is the key requirement for any nations for their sustainable development. So today's webinar is somehow related to the energy. So we all know that the population has increased, tremendously increased nowadays due to the uh, industrialization, deforestation. The energy requirement is going to be increased. Urbanizations we can include. So the energy requirement is increasing day by day, and we all know that we don't have enough amount of energy to fulfill this upcoming demand. Or even we can say that this demand nowadays completely fulfilled by the conventional sources of energy, means the renewable, other rather than renewable, means the coal, oil, crude oil, petroleum products. This energy is completely fulfilled by the conventional sources. So now conventional sources have impacts on the environment. Not only environment, it has impacts, major impacts on the human also. We know that the humans suffer from the cancers. That is because of the particulate matter going to their lungs because of the burning of fossil fuels, biomass, burning of biomass, directly burning of biomass actually. So the conventional energy sources, the uses of conventional energy sources has impact on the environment, human being, or any other living organism. So in order to reduce this energy demand that is completely fulfilled by the conventional energy sources, the renewable energy, means the substitute energy sources, is required. Here the two word indicating renewable energy and alternative energy. Now renewable energy means the energy which can be renewed or which has no any environmental impact, means the global warming, greenhouse greenhouse effect. However, greenhouse and global warming is necessary for the human living, because due to the greenhouse or global warming effect, the human can live on the earth. But if it's exceed to a certain limit, it is harmful for everyone. So alternative energy source means the substitute of conventional fuel. So today's our topic is on renewable energy, alternative energy sources. So there are many alternative energy sources available, means the solar, wind, biomass, geothermal, tidal, ocean. There are certain very number of energy sources are available that we can use many ways. So myself, Nakum Divyang, currently pursuing my PhD at Manaptab Institute. So first of all, what is alternative energy sources? So alternative energy is an energy sources that is alternative to fossil fuels, because every day the world produces carbon dioxide by means of vehicles emission, by means of industries. It emits the carbon dioxide and that is released to the earth atmosphere, and earth retains that carbon dioxide in up to the 100 years. Means the once the carbon dioxide produced from the industry, it will retain on the earth's surface, sorry, earth atmosphere, and this increased amount of carbon dioxide causes the global warming effect. And one answer to global warming is to replace and retrofit the current technologies with alternatives that have comparable or better performance but do not emit carbon dioxide. Means we require the things or technology that had a certain advantages, that we can substitute the conventional uses of conventional energy sources and can maximize the usage of renewable energy sources, which is favorable of friendliness to the environment. So in a general sense, the alternative energy is it's currently convinced is that which is produced or recovered without the undesirable consequences inherent in the fossil fuel use, particularly high carbon dioxide emission, an important factor in the global warming. Means the whatever amount of the emissions occur with the help due to the conventional uses, conventional energy uses, we have to reduce, because due to the global warming effect, the glacier, we all know that the ice or the glaciers of the northern countries is melting, and due to that, the sea level rising, or even the temperature of environment is rising, that we already felt during the summer season. So it has the many harmful effect to the living organism. So Here is the different alternative energy sources. Is the example of solar, thermal, wind, hydro, tidal, wave, geothermal, and biofuel. Biofuel is currently a research topic. Means there is a research gap. Now the solar and thermal. Solar has two ways to produce the power by means of photovoltaic or by means of thermal route. So solar and thermal both are same. Then wind, hydro, tidal, wave, geothermal, and biofuel. So let us discuss one by one, and we will discuss about uh, the installation potential or capacity of installation of the renewable energy sources in Indian scenario and in a global scenario. So here research shows that the British Petroleum and Royal Dutch Shell, two of the world's largest oil companies, the British Petroleum and Royal Dutch Shell, and this said that by 2050, one third of the world energy will need to come from the solar, wind, and other renewable resources. The one beautiful thing is related to solar, that is, solar is the abundant source of energy that we all know. Okay, that we will discuss in solar topic. So climate change, population growth, and fossil fuel depletion means that the renewable will need to play a bigger role in the future than they do today. Hence, there is a wide scope for uses of renewable energy in order to substitute or in order to completely replace the usage of conventional energy sources. Yes, it is fact that we cannot replace the 100% of the conventional, but we can maximize the percentage of renewable energy usage. And so for that, we can minimize the environmental impact. So here's the solar power. A solar power is used commonly for heating, cooking, production of electricity, and even in the desalination of seawater. Here, they indicating the two ways of solar power, means the photovoltaic way and thermal way. The thermal way includes the heating, cooking. Cooking means that we all know solar cooker, means box type solar cooker that working on the greenhouse effect and it produces the cooking. You can produce your better quality food in the solar cooker 2 times in a day. And there are many advantages related to the solar cooking. So, and it has a limited cost, solar cooker. So solar energy is commonly for heating, means the solar water heating that we already use uh, in our house, and the production of electricity by means of photovoltaic effect, means the PV panel that we already have seen, and even in the desalination of seawater. The desalination of seawater is means this seawater means the saline water that can uh, converted into the edible or potable water by means of desalination. The solar heat has long been employed in the passively and actively heated, means directly or indirectly heated buildings as well as district heating system. The obstacle preventing the large-scale implementation of solar powered energy generation is the inefficiency of current solar technology and the cost. So again, advantages has some disadvantages that we all know. The solar power, the application of solar power has some limitation, and the limitation means in face of inefficiency, means the efficiency of solar power is quite low as compared to the other sources, and the initial investment is quite high. Currently, the efficiency of a PV panel is around the 16% of the sunlight that hits them into the electricity. So here is the two ways indicating the solar generated power by means of electrical way or by means of thermal way. So here is the by means of electrical way that we all know about the solar panel. How it works, solar panel, I think the students might have studied during their coursework that how the solar panel works. The solar panel is a kind of semiconductor which produces the DC current, means the N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor sandwich together and make a panel, make a solar cell, then further make a panel. So as the photons strike, the photons that comes from the sun's solar radiations to strike on the n-type semiconductor. The n-type semiconductor means it has the additional electron. Means when the in tetravalent impurity in tetravalent semiconductor, if we add pentavalent semiconductor, means it has the 5 electron, the tetravalent has the 4 electron. Then additional 1 electron is remain in the n-type semiconductor. And again, the p-type semiconductor means it has the extra hole. Means when the trivalent impurities is added to the tetravalent impurities, then it make a p-type semiconductor. When the photons strike on the n-type semiconductor, the electrons excited and jump to the p-type semiconductor. Means the holes attract the electron, and there is an energy gap between that. So you might have observed the energy is being flow. Means the current electron is being flow from N to P. That is nothing but a DC current. Means EMF is generated at the 2 points. So it's a solar panel produce the DC current, and then ampere meter which measures the current, and then inverter is required. Here is the component for the PV module. The inverter which converts the DC current into AC current, because our mostly appliances works on the AC current. Then kilowatt meter, then switchboard to regulate the voltage, to regulate the current supply, and then it transferred to the electricity grid. Now again, this is classified into two ways: off grid and on grid system. On grid means it has no battery, means whatever the amount of solar energy, means electricity is produced, that is transferred to the grid connection without storing in the battery. Whereas in the off grid means no grid, you can say, means whatever amount of the current is produced is stored to the battery for the further usage. Now, on-grid system required the net meter which substitute the consumption and the production, and it shows the net amount of energy usage. So here is the example, household example, means energy generated, then transferred to the inverter, then battery, then main switch, and the surplus amount of energy you can sell to the grid, or you can earn money by selling the surplus amount of the electricity that is produced by the photovoltaic panel. Now here, the pros of the solar power. Solar power means advantages of solar power. Solar power is the renewable resources. As long as the sun exists, it will reach Earth. Solar power generation releases no water or air pollutions because there is no chemical reaction from the combustion of fuel. Solar energy can be used very efficiently for practical uses such as heating or lighting. The solar light, the solar lantern, solar water heating systems. There are many appliances that works on the solar energy. Solar lantern in the remote area where there is a unavailability of light. Solar heating system in case of northern countries where there is a oftenly a -degree temperature available. There are many scopes related to the solar energy. The benefits of solar power are seen frequently to heat pool, spas, and water tanks all over. And it saves the household or the commercial overhead expenses. Now here it means that we are applying the room heater. Okay, we are applying the room heater to heat the room or heat the surrounding. But with the help of solar power, you can heat, or you can heat your surrounding, or you can heat your house with the help of solar energy. Means you can save the extra energy, or you can save the energy that is come from the grid electricity. You can reduce, or you can reduce your expenses. The excess power could be transferred to the grid. Means the surplus amount of the energy you can transfer to the grid by means of selling. And if the battery system is used, the electricity can be stored for the later use. Now, one important thing is related to the solar energy. The research shows that the solar energy potential is 10 raised to 16 watt, means the earth abundantly supply the solar energy in the amount of 10 raised to 16 watt, and the energy demand of the world is 10 raised to 13, means the sun supply 100 times more energy as compared to our demand. If we are capable to use only a 5% of solar energy, then still we are 50 times more than our requirement. It's a beautiful things related to solar energy, means you can imagine the potential of solar energy. Means you can fulfill your daily energy requirement by means of solar energy. But it has some disadvantages. And the main disadvantage is related to is the intermittent source of energy. Means it's the location specific and time specific source of energy. Means you can use the solar energy only in the daytimes, or means the night time and the cloudy days limit the amount of energy produced. Solar power station can be expensive to build, means the initial investment of the solar energy is quite high. Solar energy is renewable for sure, but isn't constant. Means the intensity of solar radiations during daytimes vary. Means in the morning time, solar radiation is quite low. In the middle of the day, means it's the 12 o'clock to 2 p.m. The solar radiation intensity is the maximum, and as the time passes, it will decrease, and it can be a rip during the daytime. The other concern is only a 50% of the energy received by the solar panel can be converted into the electricity. Now, as we have discussed, the solar panel have two types. The one is the grid, and second one is the base tree, means off-grid connection. The grid connection means this does not have storage system for the energy that is generated from the sun, and during the night time we'll have to use the grid. And so whatever the energy produced during the daytime is completely supplied with the grid connection. You cannot use it directly. And for the battery system, in this case, the battery will save some energy to use when the weather is gloomy or at the night. These systems come with a higher cost because it involves the cost of battery, and the cost of battery is quite higher. Now here some are the pictures of the solar panel. The solar panel are classified into many ways: the polycrystalline, monocrystalline, amorphous silicon solar panel, and lots of solar panels are available. And according to the efficiency, if we consider the polycrystalline generally used, the polycrystalline solar panel generally used, it has the efficiency about 16 to 17%. And some other floating solar panel are also available. And advanced way of solar panel is say a transparent solar panel, foldable solar panel, flexible solar panel. There are many research work has been carried out on the PV module. But if we consider the scenario, current scenario of renewable energy in India, so India achieved a fifth global position in solar power development by surpassing Italy. And solar power capacity has increased by more than 11 times in the last 5 years, from the 2.6 gigawatt in the March 2014 to 30 gigawatt in July 2019. And India achieved fifth global positions after Italy. The total potential of solar energy in India is about 372.69 gigawatt, whereas it contributes about 23.8% renewable energy sources. Means the total energy, it includes the conventional energy sources even. The total out of the total renewable energy percentage is the 23.8%. And the Indian government has increased the target of renewable energy capacity to 175 gigawatt by the year 2022, which include the 100 gigawatt from the solar, 60 gigawatt from the wind, 10 gigawatt from the biopower, and 5 gigawatt from the small hydropower. So at this time, India's cumulative installed renewable power capacity is 84.39 gigawatt, including the wind power, 37. Majority is the wind power, 37.28 gigawatts, solar power 32.52 gigawatt, and biomass power 9.94 gigawatt, and small hydropower is 4.65 gigawatt. Here is the first graph indicating the total installed power capacity in India. The total installed power capacity is out of the total, the renewable energy is contributing 23.8% of the total installed power capacity, whereas the 62.1 is accounted for the thermal power. And then thermal power, then followed by the hydropower, nuclear power, and renewable power. And now the total renewable energy installed capacity in India, that consider only a renewable energy sources, that major portion of the total installed energy capacity in India is from the wind power, 44.17%, followed by the solar power, 38.53%, biomass power, 11.77%, and then hydropower, 5.51%. So here is the current scenario of renewable energy in India by means of total energy installed capacity and by means of renewable energy installed capacity. So here some solar power in India, solar power plant, you can say. So at the first position, the Bhadla solar power plant located at the Rajasthan state, and it is the largest solar power plant in the world, and is found in the state of Rajasthan, having the capacity of producing, the capacity is about 2,250 megawatts and is covered the area or occupied the area of about 14,000 acres. Whereas at the second position in India is the Shakti Sthala solar power project, having the capacity to produce 2,050 megawatts by occupying the 13,000 acres land, and that is located in the Karnataka. And at the third, an ultra mega solar park has the capacity of producing 1,000 megawatt, occupying 5932 acres and located in the Kurnool, AP. Then Reva solar power project, having the capacity to produce 750 megawatt, located in the MP. And then Kamuti solar power plant, having the capacity to produce 648 megawatt, occupy the area 2,500 acres, and that is located in the Tamil Nadu. Then here, the solar power in India, according to state-wise, means India is now the fourth largest solar power producer in the world, with more than a third of its total energy capacity produced from the renewable sources. And the government of India has achieved the target by 2022 about the 450 gigawatt renewable energy. That is the estimated target to complete by 2022. So at the first position, according to the state-wise, Karnataka is at the top positions with the production capacity of the power is about 7,100 megawatt, followed by the Telangana 5,000 megawatt, Rajasthan 4,400 megawatt, Andhra Pradesh 3,470 megawatt, and Gujarat 2,654 megawatt. So out of the Gujarat current total renewable energy production of 9,670 megawatt, about the 2,654 megawatt is from the solar. Means the total energy production of Gujarat state is about 9,670 megawatt, and out of that, 2,654 megawatt is from solar energy. And the Gujarat state is planning to boost its renewable energy capacity by 30,000 megawatt by 2022. Now the thermal power. So solar thermal, the thermal name indicating the somehow related to the temperature, means by heating something to produce the electricity or to produce the working fluid. The solar thermal means the heat energy is the carbon-free renewable alternative to the power that we generate with the fossil fuel like coal and gas. The solar water heating, known as solar thermal systems, capture the free heat from the sun and uses it up to the heat the water. By means of solar water heater, by means of solar cooker, there are many ways. Then again, to produce the power is the concentration of solar energy, means compound parabolic concentrations, line focus, point focusing solar concentration. Then the popular is the tower project, means the tower concept, means concentrate solar energy at one point, or you can achieve about the 3000 to 4000 degrees centigrade to produce the power. Means that much amount of temperature you can achieve with the help of concentration solar. It's a thermal route of solar energy. The first we have discussed about the photovoltaic way of the solar energy. Now it can be a cost-effective way to generate hot water for your home, and they can be used in any climate. And the fuel they use, the sunshine, is free, because to run the solar thermal project, the fuel requirement is solar energy that is freely available in the nature. Now here, the thermal power plant process, how it works. So if we consider about one example of the solar water heater, how the water gets heated with the help of solar. The solar water heater, it includes several components, means the storage tanks, then collector. Means the collector is collect the solar energy, and the storage tank is the well insulated tank is required in order to reduce the heat losses to surround. Now solar collector, it includes the plate absorber plate, means the collector which collect the solar radiation and transfer to the absorber plate. And generally the copper is used because it has the higher thermal conductivity, and then other component is the transparent glass cover that reduce the heat losses. Means the transparent glass cover is applied in order to enhance the maximum solar radiations to the system, and it reduces the heat losses. Again, heat losses are of the three types: conduction, convection, and the radiation. Then again, a heat transfer fluid. So fluid may be a working fluid, or it may be a water. Generally, water is used because it's the available freely. So transfer fluid antifreeze or water to remove heat from the absorber and heat insulating backing. The whole system is insulated from the back side and from the bottom, or from the surrounding, you can say, in order to reduce the heat losses, or in order to maintain or retain the proper desired temperature. There are two types of solar water heating system: active and passive. Now the thermal power has again pros and cons. Means the advantages is they use free energy of the sun to heat your water, lower monthly electric gas utility bills, and great for climates that receive a lot of sunshine. Solar system can easily store thermal energy by use of storage tank and use it when it is required without interference from immediate environmental condition. Means with the help of solar water heater, you can increase your capacity. Capacity to store water, means additional amount of additional amount of water you can store with the help of solar water heater system. Or you can apply sensible heat storage or latent heat storage in order to store the solar radiation in daytime, and you can use that store energy in the night time. Now here the disadvantages related to the thermal power. Tank takes up more space than tankless unit. Means it required some space. higher upfront cost of equipment and installation. Initial cost is higher, quite may not have as great of performance in a climate that do not receive a lot of sunshine. It's totally depend on the sunshine. Means in case of night or in case of cloudy days, solar water heaters are unable. A tank can produce a significant amount of heat, so it's a location specific. Will not be planned accordingly, and more equipment required, more maintenance. It requires more equipment, and as soon as your equipment increase, your maintenance cost will be high. So here the thermal power in India. The thermal power, Gujarat state is at the first. Means the Mundra thermal power plant is at the first position, that is located in the Gujarat, has capacity to produce about the 4,620 megawatt, followed by the Madhya Pradesh. Means the Vidyanchal thermal power station located in the Madhya Pradesh, having the capacity to produce 4,260 megawatt. Then Mundra ultra mega project, again that is located in the Gujarat, capacity to produce 4,150 megawatt. Then KSK Mahanadi power project, Chhattisgarh, Jindal Tamar thermal power plant, Tiroda thermal power plant, Ba super thermal power station, and last one is the Talcher super power station, that is located in the Odisha. So that was about the solar energy. Now another one is the wind power. Wind power is again a renewable energy sources. Means the rural communities often do not have access to the national grid. It means in the remote area where there is the unavailability of grid connections, so you can use the wind power to produce the electricity. Wind power microgrids are suited to low density rural area and can be effective in meeting local social and economic needs. The wind energy is the generation of electricity from the wind. Means the wind energy is energy generated from the wind is called the wind energy. Means the wind energy, as it blow, it possesses the kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy we can use to produce the power. And the formula for power production is the 1/2 rho AB cube. Means the wind energy power production is directly related to the cube of wind velocity. Means if you twice the wind, your power production will be 8 times. The wind power plants have been set up in the locations where the wind velocity is high. Generally, 10 km/h wind is required for efficient operation of any wind power, and this area receives less rainfall compared to other parts of the country. And then heavy rain may be affect on the wind power. If it is heavy rain, then it drastically reduce the power. Now wind power is of the two types: a horizontal axis wind turbine and vertical axis wind turbine. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. Now the major factor that affect on the both the horizontal axis and vertical axis wind turbine is the horizontal axis is the depend on the wind direction, and whereas vertical axis wind turbine is totally independent from the wind direction. Means if the wind blows from the any direction, it will work. Now wind power process, it includes several components. So as the wind blow, it hits the blade, and blade is kind of aerofoil. Means it generates the draft and rotate. The blade then transfers their motion to the hub. Hub then supplies the motion to the shaft. Means the kinetic energy of wind is converted into the rotary motion of the shaft, and shaft is connected to the gearbox, and then gearbox is connected to the generator which produces the electricity. So wind turbine works opposite to a fan. Now how fan works, as we supply the electricity, the fan rotates and produces wind. But in case of wind turbine, as the wind flow, it produces the energy. The wind turbines are blades which spin a shaft which connect to a generator and makes electricity. Wind energy harnesses the power of the wind to propel the blades of the wind turbines, and the rotation of the turbine is converted into the electrical current by means of an electrical generator. Now here is the complete layout for the wind turbine. Here is the horizontal axis wind turbine uh, uh, indicating. It has the several components: rotor blade, the gearbox, neckly, generator, power cables, tower, and then produced electricity can transfer to the grid connections. The wind that blows rotates the blade that transfer the motion to the hub, then the shaft, then here is the gearbox which enhance or increase the RPM, because the uh, RPM is necessary to produce, high RPM is necessary to produce the electricity. So that's why the gearbox is required, and the higher RPM then transfer to the generator. And the combined unit of generator gearbox is called the neckly unit. And here is the tower to support this all the components. Now, the advantages of wind power: produce no pollution that can contaminate the environment, since no chemical process takes place as the burning of fossil fuels. There are no harmful byproducts left over, since the wind energy is a renewable source of energy and will never run out of it. Sorry. No interference with nature. The farming and grazing can still take place on the land occupied by the wind turbines, which can help in the production of biofuels. Doesn't take so much amount of land space. Doesn't take too much amount of land space, and excellent for large scale power production. So now wind power is intermittent, and here is the disadvantages related to the wind power. Intermittent source of energy means the constant wind is required to generate the power. If wind decreases, the turbine lingers and less electricity is generated. Large wind farm can have negative effect on the scenery. And the fact that is very diffuse source means that a large number of wind generators are required to produce useful amount of heat or electricity. Wind turbines cannot be erected everywhere simply because many places are not windy enough for suitable power generation. When an appropriate place is found, building and maintaining a wind farm can be costly. Means the initial cost related to wind farm is high, and it's a quite high maintenance. It required quite high maintenance, and it's a highly capital intensive technology. And again, one more disadvantage related to wind power is it produces high noise. So wind power in India. The Munappal wind farm located at Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu, and having the capacity of 1,500 megawatt. Jaisalmer wind park located in the Rajasthan, having the capacity to produce 1,064 megawatt. Brahmanwell wind farm, Delgaon wind farm, and Vankuswade wind farm that is located in the Satara district. So, with the 37.5 gigawatts of capacity installed, the country currently ranks 4 in the world in the wind power generation after China, US, and Germany. And India experienced the highest ever wind capacity addition of 5.5 gigawatt in 2016-17, and the South Asian nation plans to achieve 60 gigawatt of power from the wind by 2022. Currently accounts for about 10% of Indian total installed electricity generation capacity. So here is the state-wise data of wind power capacity state-wise. This Tamil Nadu state is at the first position by power generation capacity. Tamil Nadu produced the maximum power out of all the states, about 8,631 megawatt, followed by the Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Andhra, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, Kerala. Whereas the total power production is Tamil Nadu is 30,447 megawatt. Means the contribution of the wind power in Tamil Nadu state out of the total power is 28.32%, 34%. means total power generation capacity divided by total power. Now Gujarat has the second position, the 6,044 megawatt. Then Maharashtra, Karnataka, Rajasthan. Here the country Rajasthan contributing more, means the 20% out of the total power production. That's why I said you this data adjusted according to the power generation capacity, not for the contribution. Okay. If we see about the contribution wise, then Rajasthan state will be at the second position because it contribute about 20% of the power generation from the wind out of the total power. Now Kerala is at the last position. Here is the some photograph. Mupandal wind farm, Vankuswade, Telgaon, and Jaisalmer wind farm. Means for the wind farm, you will see that all the states are related to coastal area, except Rajasthan, Andhra, MP. Because the coastal way has higher potential to produce more energy from the wind. And then coastal way, now after that, the hilly area is favorable, means suitable for the wind power generation. The second one is the hydroelectric power that comes from the potential energy of the rainwater driving a turbine and generator. And another variation is to make a use of photokinetic energy or undamped source of such as the tidal power. Means the hydroelectric power means from the figure it is clear that hydroelectric power means the turbine is located here. The one is the upper side and second one is the downward side. So in between the upper side and downward side, the turbine is located. And here the intake is open and control gate in order to control the flow of the water, and the water passes to the downward side and to the turbine. And then finally it goes to the outflow, means the downward side. Then turbine rotates and turbine transfer the rotation to the generator, and generator produce the electricity, and then electricity is then transferred to the grid connection. So here is the overview of hydro power. The hydropower, the pros. Water can be accumulated above the dam and released to the coincide with the peaks in demand. So unlike other types of power station, hydraulic power station can promptly increase to full capacity. Electricity can be generated constantly because we can regulate the amount of water flow. Hydroelectric power produces no waste or pollution, and water used for hydropower can be reused. The dams can be very expensive to build. Here's the disadvantages related to the hydropower. Initial investment for the dam is quite high and it requires periodical maintenance, and the sufficient amount of water is needed to produce the power. So in a hydropower scenario in India, India has the world fifth largest hydropower capacity, about the 50 gigawatt, and is home to several large hydroelectric power plants generating clean and renewable electricity. In China, Brazil, US, and Canada. Means India at the fifth positions after China, Brazil, US, and Canada. And now the India has 197 hydropower plants capable of producing more than 25 megawatts, according to the International Hydropower Association. So the Tehri hydropower complex located at the first position, having capacity to produce about 2,400 megawatt, located on the Bhagirathi and Palingana rivers. It has the height approximate about 260.8 meter, and it's also the 8th tallest dam in the world and the second tallest in the Asia. Now, Koina hydroelectric project having capacity to produce 1,960 megawatt are located in the Satara district. Then Sri Sailam Dam, Napta Jakri Dam, and Sardar Sarovar Dam having the capacity to produce 1,450 megawatt, located on the Narmada River, Gujarat. And this dam account as the world's second largest concrete dam. And after Grand Coulee, which sits across the river Columbia in the US in terms of the volume of concrete used in the construction. The Sardar Sarovar Dam account the world's second largest concrete dam. And the length of that dam is about 1,210 meter and height about 138 meter. Here see some photographs and some other energy sources means the tidal power. The tidal power is used the ocean tide to generate the electricity. I mean, one is the tidal basin and other one is the ocean. Means during the high tide, the water flow to the tidal basin, and the water flow to the tidal basin through the turbine. So as the water flow from ocean to the tidal basin, it runs the turbine, then turbine transfer that motion to generator which produce the electricity. And during the low tide, the whatever amount of this water that stored in the tidal basin, it again go back to the ocean, and again it runs the turbine which produce the electricity. So these large underwater turbines are placed in the area with a high tidal movement and are designed to capture the kinetic motion of surging of ocean tides in order to produce electricity. Tides are more predictable than wind and solar power, and among the source of renewable energy, tidal power has traditionally suffered from the relatively high cost and limited availability of sites with a sufficiently high tide strength. Then wave power means ocean wave again can be used to generate the electricity. By wave power is the transport of energy by ocean surface wave and the capture of that energy to do useful work. For example, electricity generation, water desalination, or the pumping of water. Now, geothermal energy, the abundant amount of heat that is stored in the Earth's crust in case of molten magma. And geothermal energy is the use of the Earth's internal heat to boil water for heating buildings or generating electricity. Geothermal energy is produced by tapping into the thermal energy created and stored within the Earth and is considered sustainable because that heat energy is constantly replenished. Means how it works. The geothermal literally means the earth heat. Means the pipe is inserted up to the certain depth, and the working fluid is passed to that pipe, and as working fluid pass underneath the ground, it will become a hot, and as it comes in the geothermal energy, it will make a vapor, and then that vapor used to generate the turbine, and that turbine further used to generate the electricity. Now again, one is the biofuel. Biofuel you can produce by means of fermentation, by means of transesterification. Means ethanol is the biofuel you can produce by the fermentation process, or biodiesel, traditionally biodiesel you can produce by the transesterification process. And another way to produce the biofuel is through the pyrolysis process. Means the pyrolysis process produce the biochar, syngas, and the biofuel, and that biofuel can be used directly to the engine after the filtration, because it contains some amount of the tar which is unhealthy to the engine. And the farming industry, among other industry, are using corn and other plants as biomass alternative energy source that can be put into the gases, tanks, or cars and trucks that can replace earth damaging fossil fuels. The oldest type of biofuel is called the biodiesel, which was the first made out of the plants and vegetables. Today, biodiesel is made out of the old cooking oil and other types of plants. And the second one is the ethanol, produced by the methanol or ethanol produced by the fermentation of the sugar-based compound, means the corn or sugar cane, sorghum, and when finished, these forms of alternative energy can be used in the cars, trucks, or vans. So these all are the alternative energy fuels that we have discussed, and I think, or I hope you might have understand about the conventional energy sources and why we need alternative energy sources. And there is an urgent demand for alternative or substitute fuel which can replace the conventional fuel. So by ending by concluding, the thank you. I'm thankful to everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dixit sir, for giving me opportunity. Thank you, every students, and thank you, entire staff of the Parul University. Thank you very much.
Mr. Nakum. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Sharing your good knowledge about the different renewable energy sources like the solar power, wind power, hydroelectric power, tidal energy, geothermal power, and bioenergy, and also sharing its importance and also its application. So I hope this knowledge is very useful for our students and participants because the day by day increase the population and also increase the use of fossil fuel, which is the release the carbon dioxide surrounding the Earth's atmosphere, which is the create the global warming effect. It is the very harmful for the world's environment. So this condition, the renewable energy is the best solution of the alternative energy source of fossil fuel because it is the very easily available and eco-friendly. That means it is the no create the pollution surrounding the atmosphere. Nowadays, the renewable energy source is the future of the world. So I hope this knowledge is very useful for our students and participants. Once again, thank you, Mr. Nakul Divya, giving us such a valuable time and very important knowledge sharing with us. Thank you, Mr. Nakul Divya.
Thank you, Dixit sir, for giving me opportunity. Thank you, Parul University. Once again, thanks to everyone. Thanks to head of the Department of Agriculture Engineering. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Nokum sir.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Nakul, now you can let us.
Okay, sir.
वाह